Okay, so the process that I go through to pick out my nails and do my nails with Color Street strips is to first prep my nails, get everything ready, get everything laid out, and then put the strips on very last. So this process takes, all in all, probably half an hour, depending on how much work I need to do on my nails. And, I just removed all the polish, so these are pretty much ready to go. You can see I've got some a little bit of flakiness happening. I've got cuticles to clean up and push back. I've got some trimming to do, some filing to do, some buffing to do. So I will, yes? Okay. My helper is here. So I will show you the tools and supplies that I use, and then the process I go through putting the nails on. So first of all, I have a little kit. You don't have to have this whole kit, but the nice thing about this is it does kind of have everything that you would need. So I often will use this set of trimmers to trim my cuticles. I can get in, really kind of close and trim off little bits as needed. When I'm placing the strips, it's handy to have a little pair of scissors. You can use big scissors too, but these are really nice. So when you put a strip on and you want to cut it off so that you can put it on the other nail, these little trimmers come in very much in handy. And of course, regular fingernail clippers are okay too if you want to use those to clip your nails. I'm not going to be clipping my nails this time. I'm just going to be filing and buffing. So I wanted to leave them as long as I could. So this is a nice set. I think it was Amazon, but you can just buy these tools individually too. So then I like a good strong nail file, and I got this. It's like 180 240 grit sandpaper, just a basic nail file. It's pretty rough, so this will do shaping like this nail right here that has that had broken, that I had to kind of file down. It's at a weird angle right now, so I'll have to do shape that. I also use a buffer. So if you have any ridges in your nails, I've buffed most of them out, but sometimes if you have to get back up in, I'm trying to catch the sun. If you have ridges, especially when you put the cream or even the shimmer nail strips on, if you have a bunch of lines or ridges in your nails, then those will kind of show through. You'll see stripes in your polish. So you want to just use something like this. I usually use the 4 and the 5 to buff that out, buff those nail ridges down, and then I use the softer sides, the 6 and the 7, to really smooth out the nail and make it feel really soft and silky. So this also has nail file on it, but I don't use it. I only pretty much use the buffers. The regular nail file, I'd rather use my thin nail file. Another nail file a lot of people use, and I like this one as well, is a glass nail file. So this is made out of glass, and it's got a very, very fine grit on it, and it will help really smooth the edge of your nail out. So I'll hit it with the rough file first, and then come back and hit it with the soft file afterwards. You always want to file your nails every single time you take your polish off to put a new set on, or anytime you want to put a new set on. You really want to make sure you file your nails. You want a really blunt, flat edge. And I'm not talking about shape, I'm just talking about the very tip. You want it to be very thick and blunt, and the only way to do that is to file it down, because regular wear that you get just from using your hands, doing everything we do, it will kind of thin out the edge of your nail, and it will cause it to become thin on the end, which is why a lot of nails will break and peel on the end. So at least once a week you want to file your nails and keep that edge really blunt and thick, so it will help protect your nails from breaking and shredding. And then I'll get to these two. This is a rubber tipped, a little rubber tipped smoother cuticle stick, and a wooden cuticle stick that I use to trim off if anything's a little bit too wide in the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and prep my nails, and I will be back when these are all fully filed, ready for application, all of that. So hopefully there'll still be good daylight in here, but we'll see how this goes. Okay. Okay, so I've got all of my nails filed now. I'm pushing back my cuticles, just about finished. One note about pushing your cuticles back is it's not just a matter of, trying to expose as much nail as possible by pushing your cuticle down. It's really, you want to feel along. And if you have anything that feels like a little bit of skin almost covering your nail, I really work to peel that off. The nail strips are not going to stick to anything that's not nail. So if you have that little bit of skin from your cuticle kind of reaching up, growing onto your nail, you can't really push that back. It's more a matter of just kind of picking it off. And you want to go all the way up the sides of your nails too. It's not just the cuticle down at the bottom. You can have kind of your skin or your cuticle growing up over the sides of your nail as well. So do your best to push all those back, get those little bits pulled off if you need to, and there we go. Now we're ready. So a couple of more tools or supplies I forgot to mention earlier. One of them is a paper towel, very simple, but it contains all the little bits of nail and files and bits and pieces, and once I get to putting on the strips, it will have all of the little bits left over of the strips that don't go on your nails, or the little parts that you peel off. So it's easy if you just kind of keep it all contained in one little paper towel like this, and you can just pick the whole thing up and throw it away. Last will be the alcohol prep pads. So each set comes with one of these. Some of the older sets come with two. If you need more, it's just a basic alcohol prep pad. So I actually bought just basic alcohol prep pads on Amazon, and you can get a box of these, or your drugstore or anything like that. You can get a box of them really cheap, but you do want to have these on hand, because my first step, once I pick out what nails are going to go on, or what strips are going to go on what nails, then I will want to hit it with the alcohol prep pad to remove all the oils, remove kind of the bit of dirt and mess from the corners, and get ready to put those nails on. So it was asked of me, how do I decide what I want to put on my nails? With so many choices, it's too much to decide. How do you decide what you want to do? So for me, I would always start with one set. So I will take an inspiration. It is the holidays now, so that's pretty easy. There's a lot of really great holiday sets, but if it's just a regular day and you want maybe a set that is leopard, what do I pair that with? Maybe a gold, maybe a burgundy, something like that. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing that right now. I'm just going to be doing a holiday set. So tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, actually very shortly here. So I thought that I would do some blue and white nails, or blue and silver. So there are some really, really good sets out right now. This is one of them that's current. It is called Ice to Meet You. And I bought this set a while ago. I fell in love with it because I just thought it was so detailed and so beautiful. And so then this would be my inspiration set. Yeah, this is the size package they come in now. So this would be my inspiration set. From here, I would say, well, I've got different blues. I could go with different blues. I could go with silvers. There are another couple of sets that have come out recently that are also very similar to this, and I picked those up. So those sets are the ones that I'm going to be using. I'm not going to go to any solids. You could do a solid blue. There is one, this is an older set. It's a blue ombre, silver to blue ombre, which is really cool. Also goes with it really well, but one of the sets that I'm going to be using kind of already has that, so I'm going to save this set for later. So this will be the set that I use. And this is another set. This is out right now. This is called Ice Ice Baby. And it's got kind of the same design, silver, blues. And so these will go together nicely. And then I have another one that I picked up a while ago that is Good Chill to All. And I'm not a big fan of these, but I do like the snowflakes that go with these snowflakes. And then it's also got the ombre, but the other way, the blue to silver rather than silver to blue. So I'm going to use a combo of these three for my nails. So my first step will be to decide what nail gets what and to lay them all out so that it's really clear to me. I don't have to start opening sets and trying to figure it out when I'm already in the process. So for me, since this is my inspiration set, this is the one I'll start with first. So I'll open this up. And it comes with your strip of nails. It also comes with, yeah, this one is one of the ones that has the 2 alcohol pads. So I'll definitely need those. And then they come with, over the years, they've done different nail files. This is a small, skinny one. This one's not too bad, but the thicker one that they've done, they have a medium thick one. I'm sure one of these other sets will have something different in it. These are so tiny, they're just garbage to me. I can't use them, so I always just throw them out. So I'll save all my packaging, but I know I'm going to use some of these, so let's open this. This is the typical nail file you see now. Again, too short for me to do anything with, and an alcohol prep pad. So the nice thing about these two is that they're always all labeled on the back. So once you open up all these packages and you have no idea what anything was, you can kind of figure it out. And I save all the packaging because I'll put everything back together to put back into my stash once I'm done. And you'll see what I do with that. So here's the last set. Ice Ice Baby. Nail file I won't use, and another pad. Okay. So starting here, I know my thumbs are too big for this strip and too small for this strip. So if you run into that, if one strip is that's just not going to be wide enough, I'm going to have space on the edge, then always opt for the bigger strip, always. And that is easy to trim off. If you've got something a little bit too wide, you can just kind of go along your cuticle and trim that off with one of your cuticle sticks. You can't make a strip wider if it's not wide enough, but if it's too wide, then you can trim it. So always, if you're in between, go to the larger size. So I know I'm going to take this for my thumb, and some of these are different widths, like these last two. They're a little wider at the bottom than they are at the top. At least that always seems to be when I put them on. So I know that my pinky is the wide end of this, but this up here is too short. So I know I need 2 of these. I may not need 2 thumbs because my thumbnails are both really pretty short. But because I know my pinky is, you know, it only fits on one end of this, I'll have to use 2 strips. And that's fine. You know, you can either use 1 or 2 strips. If you can use 1 strip for 2 nails, that's great. If you can't, not a big deal. You just use 2 strips. So let's see. I think I like these snowflakes and the ombre. I know they're all kind of very similar, so it's hard to make your choices, but yeah, this is good too. So let's start here. I know that this will be my thumb. So I open the package. I pull this out. Let go, let go. The strip set is a little bit older, so they're kind of being a little stubborn. I always take off both even if I only need one thumb, I don't want to have to start reaching back into the package to do that. So I will take both thumbs and then I start laying them out. So thumb, I'm going to start pinky on, sorry, get a little more in here. Pinky will be kind of over here, and then I'll move this way towards thumb. So I'm going to set that just kind of up out of the way. Let's see. So my first, let's do pinky, because then I know. We do pinky from the same set, and then we can do an ombre, one of these, and a snowflake. So I'll do that. So I know I need both of these. So I'll take both of those and I'll set them in the pinky spot. And then I'm done with this set. So I will set these back in. And one of the greatest little tricks I've seen is you put a set on a nail file like this, and they slide back in so much easier than having to fight them all the way around. So I will put these back in, push them in as far as I can, and then once I know that I'm completely done with this set, I've got everything on, if I don't need both of these, then I will take a flat iron like used for your hair. I have a craft one that I use for a lot of different things. So I'll take that flat iron and just heat it up and heat that edge to reseal this package so I can use this later. Okay, so pinky and thumb are picked. Now we need the middle three fingers. So I know that this one, no, I think it's got to be this one. Yeah. So this one has to be my ring finger. So again, like I said, if it's too big, that's fine. If it's not big enough, you're screwed. So let's do this. Come on. All right, so I said this is this. And the other thing I try to do is I try to vary. If I've got something that's mostly very blue with a little bit of silver next to it, I want to put something that is maybe more silver with less blue, and something that looks a little different. So I think my first finger, I'm going to use one of this set. My middle finger, I'll use this, and the ombre will go on this nail. So again, it's just a matter of kind of making a bunch of quick decisions, deciding which you want. I just try to vary it. I try to not have every nail be the same all the way down. So I think for my middle, I think I need this guy. Yeah, again, if it's too big, no problem. If it's too small, not a good idea. So this will be my middle finger. And then I said my ring finger, so I believe I need the wider one on this, because my first, yeah, so I think I need the wider one. I'm going to go with it anyways. So you can see some of them have more of a straight shape, and some of them have more of a rounded or pointed shape. It all just depends on your nails, and everybody is a little bit different. So this is ring finger. Now I've got all these little bits. So I will shove them all back in here. And it's so easy to reuse these. Now, once you do open a package, it sort of starts the clock on it, I guess. So it will cause them to begin to dry out or begin to be less pliable. See if I can get my nail file to push these guys in. So if you, as soon as you can, you want to reseal these, but it's not like minutes or moments. It's just, you know, the longer that they're exposed to the air, the less longevity that they'll have. So just want to get them resealed up as soon as we can. So I will save these guys. And lastly, my first finger then is going to be I really want the snowflake. This is the one that fits my first finger, but I don't like the reverse. I want this snowflake. So I'm going to go with something that is too wide. And let me say this first. So you can see I'm just barely slicing the end of this package off. You want to give yourself as much room as possible so that when you take things out and put them back in and you reseal this, every time you open it, you have to reseal it. So you're going to want to leave as much package as possible. So even though it would be easier just to cut right in the middle of the package and get to the one I want, you don't want to do that. So I do want this snowflake guy for my first finger. So this right here will be my set of nails. So I'll go through doing a couple of nails, especially some of these bigger ones that I have to trim off, and then you'll be able to see how that works. And then I will come back and show you the final finished set. So get all these back in here. Fussy. Okay. So I'm ready to put nail strips on. So again, first thing you want to do is grab your alcohol pad and really clean those nails. This is to get off any oil. I kind of rub it along the cuticle. Make sure nothing's kind of gunked up back up in there. You may need more than one pad. These things dry off really quickly too, so, and you want a good amount of alcohol on your fingers to get them cleaned. So don't be shy if you need to use more than one. Like I showed, every set comes with one pad, which of course is not helpful if you're only using 1 or 2 strips from every set. So getting that extra set of alcohol pads will be very helpful. The other thing you want to do, and something they recommend, makes tons of sense, is you want to make sure that you start on your pinky and move back towards your thumb. That way you can leave your fingers, your first finger and thumb available for working without screwing them up. So starting on the pinky, starting on the outside, working your way towards the center is definitely the best. I'm going to grab another pad because this one's starting to get dry and feels like it's a little bit full of oil. So yeah, so keep those pads handy. I'll just do one more quick go over, and you kind of want to keep this handy too. Whoops, you can hit it right before you put a nail on it. After you do this for a couple of minutes, you'll start to feel your fingers get a little sloppy. You want to, if you're handling most of this with your first finger and your thumb, you want to clean those off as well as you can too, not to spread any more extra oil. All right, so garbage is everywhere. So we'll roll all of that up into our paper towel at the end. Now, okay, we'll keep this guy right here just in case. Okay, so starting with our pinky, we're gonna need our little scissors, and we're going to need our 2 tools. Now, the nice thing about this is what you'll use to trim off in your cuticle if you've got anything that's a little bit too wide, and I am going to have those because I had to pick some wider strips. So if this isn't good enough or sharp enough, if this gets a little bit worn down, just take your nail file and rub this on there a bit, and it'll give it a nice new sharp edge, because you really kind of want something rough. You don't want it to be real smooth, and that'll help you trim off those extra bits. All right, so starting with the outside, like I said, I know that the bottom half of this strip is the one that fits my pinky. The top is a little bit too small, so these come with the overlay. Peel that off, and then you can take the strip off the paper backing. And this one has that little tab at the bottom, so I'll yank that off, and you can see there's a couple little shaggy bits there on the bottom. We're going to get to that with our little cuticle tool. So So this is why a paper towel is handy, because all this stuff gets sticky. Now, a little bit of a funny edge on the top of my nail there. There we go. So right before I put this on, I'll give it one more go around with my finger, make sure that cuticle is off the nail, everything's clean, and then I'll just place this guy on. Now it is really handy when you have the nice long strip to do this. And because my fingers are so clean, right, I guess that's going to be it. Because my fingers are so clean, the strips really adhere to them. So actually, that is perfect. So that's pretty much it. I placed it at the back of the cuticle here, and then you just want to make sure that the sides align up with the sides. Use your little rubber tipped thingy, stick to smooth it on. And then there's a lot of different ways. A lot of people will just kind of pinch off this end. I don't feel like I ever get a really clean edge, so I actually like to use a nail file. So I'll just lightly file the top of this like that, and there you go. Easy peasy. Let's do the other pinky. Take off the cover, peel off the backing, take off the tab, and then place it. You can handle these a couple of times if you have to lightly kind of press it on. So you just kind of want to get it to it where it's at the back, press it on. If it looks good, that's great. If it doesn't, if you need to peel it back a little bit and kind of reposition, you can stretch it a little bit. I'm going to take some of this off because it's just so long. And that little edge is a little bit pulled on that side, but I'm going to be okay with that. So yeah, my nails are not, and you'll find also that your nails are not the same on both hands. One strip might be perfect on one nail, and on the same nail on your other hand, it's not quite perfect. So that's that. Just file the top of this off. I'm doing like really the lightest touch. There we go. 2 nails. Okay, next. Now these nails are not too long. Hopefully I can use one strip for both. That will be our goal. We'll see what happens. And this is going to be, I think, a little bit wider. If it is, actually, let's see. Yeah, it's pretty close. So I'm going to prep both of these, make sure I got that last little bit of cuticle pushed back. Everything's clean and ready to go. Now this one, because I'm going to try to use both ends, I'm going to leave that tab on there for now. So I will place this guy. See, it's a little tiny bit too wide right there, and that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll get that kind of pressed on. It is kind of good if you can line up one side and have only one side too long, but if there's a design, it just matters what you can do. Now there's quite a bit of strip left here, so I think I'm going to be able to do the other side. So I'm going to come in here and just cut it right where the top of my nail is. Now I will pull off that tab, and well, we'll see. If it's too short, I'll peel it off. But again, because you can kind of stretch these a tiny bit, it may just be fine. A little wrinkly there. I'll kind of get that smushed down, and it's totally long enough. So, great. All right, so let's go back and finish. So what I'll do is I'll push this down onto as much nail as possible. You can see it's already kind of starting to lift off or break. And that's where I like this tool to come in and very gently push that excess off. You can totally do this without tools too. You can just use your fingernails. You can use whatever makes you, whatever is easiest for you. I just really prefer these 2 sticks. Okay, and a nail file. Now, when it's a little bit too wide, you might have to go against the side of your nail a little bit to trim that up. Keep bumping the camera tripod. That's it. So I'm just going to go like this. A little bit wide. See, this one seems, I think this hand is just a little tiny bit wider than my other hand on all nails, which is really interesting. And you can kind of feel it if you have a strip that's a little bit too wide. It's kind of hanging off the side of your finger. You can feel it. These glitters too. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit of a shaggy edge, which is why I like the nail file. Especially the ones with big chunky glitter. Sometimes when you pinch off that edge, you'll get one piece of glitter that just kind of goes off the edge, and that's when the nail file will be real handy. Okay, so then I didn't need this guy. Go back and find that pack. Stuff him in. Same thing with my middle fingernails. I think I can get by with only having to use one of them. So let's give that a shot. This guy, I know he's a little bit too wide, so I'm going to line up this one edge first, a little bit lower. And then, pretty close, but it's a little bit too big. So that's on. I'm going to be able to get by with just one strip on this guy too. Cut very straight, so be careful when you cut it. You're going to try to use it on 2 nails. And when you start getting real short like this, they're a little bit harder to manage. Just do your best. It's a little crooked. Oh, shoot. All right, 2 strips. I peeled it. I stuck it down too hard. No problem. Actually, let's finish this one first since it's sticking and hanging. Yeah, so you can see what happens when you make little mistakes. Like I just stuck that one down too hard and it had been crooked and I pulled it off and it ripped. So you can use a ripped strip. You can kind of stick it back down. It will not heal itself. It won't be perfect, but if that was your last strip and you really wanted to use that one, you can. I've done that before too. So then I'll file the edge of this. Seems to be a little long. And sometimes just pushing back your cuticle and exposing a bit more nail will give the strip something else to stick to. But again, anything you don't pull off, anything you don't pull off, eventually just will kind of peel off, and it might not look good after a day or two. Okay, so now onto the other middle nail. So you can see how handy that paper towel is, because now I've got this whole little pile of little straggly bits, and it's just easier to deal with. Not bad. Yeah, see, it almost fits this one. It's just wider on the lower part. It's so weird. You can use this tool also to trim off that edge. I just feel like it's too soft. Like you really have to dig at it, and sometimes you can tear the strip and make it look a little weird right on the edge, or you don't get quite a clean edge. So that's why I like the wooden stick, because it's sharper. And it just seems to work a little easier for me. But again, you can watch a dozen videos on YouTube and you're going to get a dozen different methods of this. So, okay. Looks pretty good. Just feel it along the top where it's kind of stuck down the top. I'm going to file that. Getting there. Okay. Next will be first finger. These are pretty short, so I'm going to again try to use one strip for two. These strips I know are too wide, so I'm going to line up the edge to get that little snowflake, and then we'll see what happens if it's long enough for two. This is very sheer. Okay, so I want to line up this one edge first. There. See, so it's just a little too wide on this end. Perfect. Now, these are very sheer strips, so these almost could be an overlay. If you had an ombre or something, it'd be a little much, but you could do something else underneath these. That might look really cool. So I don't like what's going on with my nail here, but I will deal with it later. All right, again, I'm going to line up this edge with the snowflake. Stretchy. A little bit more. Okay, and then down the other side. So yeah, these nails on my right hand seem a little bit wider than the nails on my left hand. Crazy. Very cute. Yeah, and then because this was wide, I'm going to need to really get in here along this edge. Make sure that's clean. Okay. And this one's almost perfect. A little bit too wide on this side. Yeah, so my nails are pretty much very short, but if you have long nails, you're obviously going to have to use one strip per nail. So if I can get away with it, I don't. But yeah, if I can get away with it, I don't worry about it. I mean, it's great if I can. Start over. If I can get away with using one strip for both nails, that's great. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. There's always more sets that come out, and there always are more sets that coordinate with the sets you have. So even if you end up using everything you like out of one set, you can either buy it again, or you can just get a new set. Something else will be out later that will coordinate. So I'm kind of pushing these down so I have lots of room to seal that edge. All right, so last but not least is this big thumb. Now you can see this thumb is pretty square. And because I want this to line up down the center of my nail, it's going to hang out a little bit on both sides. And that's okay. I'll just have to trim both sides rather than trying to line it up on one. And it's close, but it's close for the bottom, but the sides are too wide for me. So yeah, and like I said, that next strip down is just... If I line it up on one side, I end up with space. So again, use the wider strip if you have to. So this one I think I can get by. These nails are pretty short as well. Let's see if we can. So this is a little bit older set. A little bit too wide, but very pretty. I really like these. That's looking pretty short. Let's see. Like I said, try it. If it doesn't work, peel it off and use a different strip. So we'll stick that on, and I think if I give it just a little tug, I'll make it. Yep. Yay. See? So yeah, messy over the edges, totally weird, not looking good, but we're gonna fix that. And you won't even be able to tell. It's a nice thing about this versus, regular nail polish. Is regular nail polish, then you'd have to get out the nail polish cleaner and clean up those edges. You might stick something through it and make it a mess, so you'd have to repaint that nail. Such a pain. Never go back at this point. And I have a ton of nail polish. I just never use it because it's been too much of a pain in the butt. This stuff, these strips, you just put them on and walk away. It's just ridiculous how easy these are. They take a little bit of time, but I think it's well worth it. And where are you going to get such cute designs in nail polish? Talk about needing skill. This doesn't take skill. we'll use the nail file to kind of clean up these edges a little bit extra. Sometimes you'll find with these older strips, this set was from last year, 2 years ago, I'm not sure, they may be a little dry. I've seen a couple of different ways. People say they'll heat them up with a hairdryer, but that doesn't really work. So people will steam them, hold them over, you know, boiling water for a few seconds, and it seems to rejuvenate them. I've not run into any strips that are so old that they need rehydrating or anything like that, but yeah, so if anybody figures out what works or has worked for them, I would love to hear that. Yeah, so because this one was so messy and so wide, it takes a little extra moment to clean it up, and I'm going to go right along this edge. You know, it's not, lighting's not great, but got a little bit of a jagged edge here, so I just need to go in and there, clean that up. Some of these little bits, if they're not coming out easy or they're still kind of attached to something, they'll come out, you know, like after the first time you wash your hands. So you just want to make sure that, you know, your edges are trimmed like that. See, and that's why you do your nails, your thumb last, because you end up using it as a tool. And if you do, then you're going to have jagged edges on your nails that you weren't intending if you have to use them as tools. Before I go any further with this last nail, I'm going to plug in my flat iron so I can finish this up while it's still on camera. And sorry for the reach. So I just have a simple flat iron. This one I only use for crafts. So, you know, I have a lot of different hobbies, and this comes in handy for a lot of different things. So let's turn that on and let that start heating up. And then you'll see how I finish when I do finish. So the last steps after you've completed all of your nails and everything is all clean, all done, is to run over them with one alcohol pad. And you'll kind of feel when you do that, you'll feel that these almost have kind of a finish on them, or not quite an oiliness, but they have a bit of a sheen or something on them. And when you run the alcohol pad, you'll feel it come off, and just right now they almost feel not sticky, but they have almost a rubberized quality. And when you run the alcohol pad over when you're done, it takes that off, and it sort of activates them to seal and stick even better to your nails. So there's nothing I can explain. You can't see it. It's just something that you'll feel when you do it. So you want to run over these again at the end with an alcohol pad to seal them down to your nail, and then you're done. So there we go. That is my nails. They all look pretty similar. I think that other ombre with the silver to the blue would have been a better choice, because these are awfully blue, but you know, they're so cute. So, and still a little bit messy on the edges, but that will clean up. Okay, so get my tools out of the way. Put this one strip away. All the garbage in here. Okay, and this is hot, so it is set at 370. I don't know what a good temperature is, but you really only need a couple of seconds. So I'll just, and I want to just hit this package right at the end, and again, leave as much packaging as possible. So when you reopen this later, you have lots of plastic package to close them back up on. So I'll just slide that in there, touch it down for 2-3 seconds, and there you go. You can see that that is sealed. Yeah, it's sealed. It only takes a second or two. So again, I'll just close that down on here, right on the edge, and it's sealed. It's hard to see, but it's sealed. So I got all my extra bits stuffed back in the right packages. Close that up and seal it. And that's it. That's all I need. And it's not hot enough to really melt the plastic. There's no plastic on the inside of my iron. It's just enough to fuse those edges back together so that they're closed again. That's all. You don't want to melt the plastic. You don't want to do it more than a second or two. You just want it to seal and close back up. So that's those. So the very last step then is to take one more alcohol pad and go over your nails and remove that sort of not sticky finish, but you can hear something. So you want to rub it until it kind of, it's like almost a sliminess. It's so hard to explain. And there's nothing on the pad. You're not removing anything. It's just kind of taking that silkiness off so that it's just literally squeaky clean. And that will set your nails. It's like a quick set. It only takes, a couple little rubs. And there you go. So that's all. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this inspires you to go out and try some different things with your nails and sets. Since it is the holidays, I will probably do 1 or 2 more holiday sets. I do about a set a week, so I'll probably do, there's 2 more weeks till Christmas, I'll probably do 2 more holiday sets. And then, New Year's, there's some great New Year's sets out. And then I'll start after the New Year, do some more general colors and leopard, and I'm a big leopard fan, reds, all those kinds of things. So tune back in later and see what is next. Thanks.